High above the grass, a young red-billed oxpecker clings to the moving back of an animal hundreds of times its size. Every step beneath its feet is a test of balance. Every sudden shake could send it falling into the savannah. Yet not long before, this bird knew nothing beyond the darkness of a nest cavity. To survive, it must learn more than how to fly. It must learn how to land on a giant, search for food beside danger, and turn an unpredictable host into a moving home. Its story begins far from the backs of buffalo and rhinos, inside a natural hollow in a tree. The cavity is narrow, sheltered, and hidden from much of the outside world. Grass, rootlets, dung, and strands of mammal hair form the nest beneath the eggs. Even here, the oxpecker's future is already connected to the large animals it will one day follow. For roughly 2 weeks, the clutch is incubated and protected. Then the shell begins to crack. The chick that emerges is not a giant rider. It is small, weak, and almost entirely dependent on the birds returning to the cavity with food. Outside, the savannah is full of heat, hooves, horns, and predators. Inside, life is measured by shadows at the entrance and the sudden arrival of another meal. Day by day, the chick changes. Its body grows stronger. Feathers replace bare skin. Its senses open to a world it cannot yet enter. The nest remains a refuge, but it is also becoming a boundary. For about a month, the young oxpecker develops inside this protected space. Then the moment arrives when safety begins to demand a price. To remain in the cavity is to stay helpless. To leave it is to face the unknown. The first flight may carry the fledgling only to a nearby branch. The landing is awkward. The wings beat too hard, then not hard enough. Feet search for a grip. Balance comes through brief, uncertain corrections. But flying from wood to wood is only the beginning. An adult oxpecker lives where the ground itself breathes. Across the grass moves a Cape buffalo. Its back rises above the vegetation like a dark, shifting island. A giraffe passes farther away, each step carrying an entire feeding ground through the landscape. A white rhinoceros lowers its head, its thick hide marked by folds, scars, insects, and places where parasites gather. These are among the large mammals oxpeckers commonly use as hosts. To an experienced bird, their bodies offer food and transport. To a fledgling, they are moving cliffs. The young bird watches. Other oxpeckers land without hesitation. Their feet meet hide, their bodies lean into the motion, and their beaks begin to search. They move around ears, shoulders, necks, and flanks, following opportunities that are almost invisible from a distance. The fledgling cannot remain an observer forever. It leaves the branch. The space between bird and buffalo closes quickly. For a fraction of a second, there is no nest, no branch, and no second surface beneath its feet. Then its claws touch hide. The buffalo steps forward. The young bird pitches sideways. Its wings open, not for full flight, but for balance. Its toes tighten. The skin beneath it twitches as the host reacts to insects. A tail cuts through the air. The buffalo turns, and the horizon swings with it. The fledgling holds on. This is the first lesson of life on a giant. The surface is never truly still. Each host has a rhythm. A giraffe's long stride produces one pattern of movement. A buffalo's heavy walk produces another. Even a resting rhinoceros can suddenly shift, rise, turn, or shake its skin. The oxpecker must learn when to brace, when to hop, and when to let go. At first, every movement demands attention. But repetition slowly turns panic into control. Strong feet find purchase against hair and hide. The bird begins to move with the host instead of merely reacting to it. Now comes the next challenge. Holding on does not provide food by itself. Oxpeckers spend much of their time searching the bodies of large mammals. They probe through hair, inspect folds of skin, and pick at ticks and other small invertebrates. The young bird must learn where to search and how to feed while its platform continues to walk. A tick is not simply waiting in the open. It may be hidden where the host cannot easily groom itself. Around the ears, along the neck, beneath the belly, near wounds or areas of irritated skin. The fledgling follows movement, watches the other birds, and begins to test the surface with its bill. One peck finds nothing. Another finds a small reward. The lesson repeats across the host's body. But the oxpecker's relationship with its host is not a simple story of kindness. The birds do eat ticks. Yet red-billed oxpeckers have also been observed feeding at wounds and taking blood. In some situations, their attention may delay healing rather than help it. The same beak can remove a parasite and disturb damaged skin. For the bird, there is no moral contradiction. There is only food. For the mammal, the balance of cost and benefit may change from one moment to the next. The young oxpecker is entering a partnership built not on loyalty, but on overlapping needs. The host provides a living landscape. The bird takes what that landscape offers. And sometimes, the bird provides something in return. From the back of a rhinoceros, an oxpecker can see what the giant may not. When danger approaches, the bird's alarm call can alert the rhino before the threat comes close. The oxpecker does not need to understand the larger meaning of this warning. It reacts because danger threatens them both. For the young bird, survival now depends on reading two worlds at once. The first is the world beneath its feet, shifting hide, muscle, breath, and motion. The second is the world beyond the host, grass moving against the wind, unfamiliar shapes at the edge of sight, and the sudden silence that can signal danger. A bird that focuses only on food may miss the threat. A bird that panics at every movement may abandon the host too soon. Skill lies between those extremes. Weeks pass. The awkward fledgling becomes more precise. Its landings are cleaner. Its grip is faster. It begins to recognize when a host is calm and when a sudden movement may be coming. It can cross from shoulder to neck, disappear behind a horn, and reappear on the animal's back, as though the giant were no more difficult than a branch. What once looked impossible has become routine. The oxpecker is no longer simply riding an animal. It is using an entire moving habitat. The host carries it across feeding grounds. The bird searches places the mammal cannot easily reach. Both remain exposed to the dangers of the savannah, but each may change the other's chances of surviving them. Eventually, the cycle turns again. The adult oxpecker will leave the backs of giants long enough to return to a cavity, gather nesting material, and begin another brood. Inside the darkness, a new chick will hatch, with no knowledge of buffalo hide, rhinoceros footsteps, or the wind rushing past a giraffe's shoulder. That knowledge will not arrive all at once. It will be built through hunger, observation, failed attempts, sudden recoveries, and the courage to leave one safe surface for another that is alive. An oxpecker is born with wings, but becoming a giant rider takes practice. In the wild, courage does not always begin with strength. Sometimes it begins with a fragile creature leaving the only world it knows and learning to hold on.